Assalamualaikum to Dr. Sarah. We are going to present our research on students' motivational factor affecting student satisfaction in Uitm Kedah. For introduction, student satisfaction is the general sense of happiness and fulfillment that students derive from their educational experiences. Moving on to chapter 1, the figure illustrates a substantial growth in publications focused on student satisfaction over the last 2 decades. It illustrates that the significance of student satisfaction increases by years. It is crucial to assess the level of satisfaction experienced by students, as this analysis can guide enhancements in the overall quality of our academic prestige. Next, for problem statement, according to Batu and Teo 2021, the classroom environment plays a part in how students experience their learning environment. According to Alepio 2020 findings, student academic success is influenced by psychological needs. According to Santos et al. 2020, the assessment of students' learning experiences leads to student satisfaction. However, limited study has been conducted regarding these motivational factors in students in UiTM Kedah. Therefore, this research will identify whether the motivational factor of the environment, psychological needs, and learning experience does have a significant impact on the student satisfaction in UiTM Kedah. For research questions, first, what is the relationship between the motivational factor of environment and student satisfaction among UiTM Kedah students? What is the relationship between the motivational factor of psychological needs and student satisfaction among UiTM Kedah students? And lastly, what is the relationship between the motivational factor of learning experience and student satisfaction among UiTM Kedah students? For research objectives, first is to identify the relationship between the motivational factor of the environment and student satisfaction among UiTM Kedah students, to identify the relationship between the motivational factor of psychological needs and student satisfaction among UiTM Kedah students, and lastly, to identify the relationship between the motivational factor of the learning experiences and student satisfaction among UiTM Kedah students. I'll pass to the next center.
So next is chapter 2, literature review. This is our dependent variable, student satisfactions. Student satisfaction is when students have good opinion about different aspects of their education, like the quality of teaching, how relevant the curriculum is, academic service they receive, and whether the learning environment is comfortable and suitable. For our independent variable, first is environment. The learning environment involves the interaction between instruction method, technologies, and available resources that support the learning process and help students achieve their educational objective. Second IV is psychological needs. Coursera 2021 mentioned that self-compassionate people concentrate on maximizing their potential, wellness, and being nice to themselves when they fail, rather than being influenced by external market of success. Our next IV is learning experience. According to Herrera-Torres 2021, to put simply, learning involves the thinking and understanding cognitive, feeling and motivation, effective, and managing your own learning self-regulations. Next is theoretical framework. The first IV is environment. Motivational factor of environment has an influence on the DDB, which is student education in UiTM Kedah. The second IV is psychological needs, also has an influence on students education in UiTM Kedah. And the third IV is learning environment, also has an influence on students education in UiTM Kedah. Next, for the hypothesis, H1, there is a relationship between the motivation factor of environment and student satisfaction among UiTM Kedah students. H2, there is a relationship between the motivation factor of psychological needs and needs student satisfaction among UiTM Kedah students. H3 is there is a relationship between the motivation factor of learning experience and student satisfaction among UiTM Kedah students. I will pass to the next presenter.
For the Chapter 3, this chapter outlines the methodology utilized to achieve this objective, and it covers the sample and population, the instrument, data collection procedures, and data analysis procedures. Next is the sample and population. To gain insight into motivating factors like environment, psychological needs, and learning experience, a sample of 100 participants was selected using a non-probability sampling method based on convenience. Next, the method used to collect data for the study, the questionnaire was divided into 3 parts. The first part contains 6 questions of demographic profile. The second part contains 6 questions that include independent variable items. And the last part contains 6 questions that include dependent variable, which is student satisfaction among UiTM Kedah. Next, for the data analysis procedures, the first one is frequency analysis, which is a subject on the study show how many and what percentage of participants fit each group of demographic factors. Next, descriptive analysis. The study also included a descriptive analysis, specifically examining the mean and standard deviation, in order to provide additional evidence for the examination of the impact of the motivational factor on student satisfaction among UiTM Kedah students. Next, this analytical approach was used to understand the relationship between the dependent variable, which is the level of satisfaction among students at UiTM Kedah. The resulting alpha value served as the reliability coefficient. Additionally, a correlation analysis was conducted to investigate the presence of any significant association among the three independent variables. If the p-value is less than 0.05, it indicates a statistically significant association between the five variables. Lastly is multiple regression analysis. They use fancy math, check five important things to make sure their results were good. They use tests like R2, F ratio, and P value to see if their findings were important. They also look at beta value to figure out which things had a bigger impact on student satisfaction. I'll pass to the next presenter.
Next, this chapter presents the study result in 5 sections, like on the screen. Next, profile of the respondent. A survey conducted at UiTM Cawangan Kedah received 130 responses from students. The majority were female, 76.1% in their early 20s. Business and management students comprised 58.4%. Most respondents were in semester 5, 54%, pursuing degree 65%, and non-resident were 63.7%. Next, goodness of data. For instance, deleting a question improved the alpha from 0.661 to 0.704 in the physical need category. All study variables have acceptable reading above 0.7. Next, descriptive analysis. All variables fall within a mean range of 4. The environment significant influence student motivation factor of satisfaction 4.31, physical need 4.01, and learning experience 4.10. Next, correlation analysis. The satisfaction of students had a strong and significant connection with other factors. The variable with a higher correlation to double star were identified. The significant correlation support the regression analysis and testing hypothesis. Next, multiple regression analysis. The analysis showed that there are not significant link between environment motivation factor and student satisfaction. Significant value 0.17. On the other hand, strong connection relationship is physical needs and significant value of 0.001, as well as a learning environment significant value of 0.029. Lastly is hypothesis. The research aimed to explore how student motivation influence satisfaction at UiTM Kedah. Hypothesis 1 suggesting no link between the environment motivational factors and student satisfaction was rejected. However, hypothesis 2 and 3 indicating relationship between physical needs, learning experience with student satisfaction were accepted. I will pass to the next presenter.
For discussion and conclusion, the report summarized the investigation key finding, offers suggestions for future research, and critically evaluates the study shortcoming. Next, for suggestion for future research, the suggestion is to deeply investigate more motivational factors, investigating the complex interplay between intrinsic and extrinsic motivation in learning environments require a true examination of particular elements, including curriculum design, teaching strategies, and evaluation techniques. Other than that, the suggestion is to expand the size of the sample. The use of a larger sample allows for more accurate statistical analysis and a more comprehensive knowledge of trends. This is because larger samples give a more representative view of the population that is being studied. The last suggestion is to increase the population that is being studied. A more complete strategy would entail contacting students at several universities, each of which has a variety of motivating factors and satisfaction dynamics as compared to concentrating on just on UiTM. Next, for conclusion, To sum up, this research main focus is to determine the relationship between the motivational factors, student satisfaction among UiTM Kedah students. In this study, it was revealed that the environment does not exert a robust and a significant influence on motivating students, ultimately affecting their satisfaction. Consequently, the initial hypothesis H1 was not supported and rejected. Conversely, both the second H2 and third H3 hypotheses were accepted. It was a relationship between the motivational aspect of psychological needs and learning experience. That's all from us. Thank you.